Francesco's laying up this prosthesis for molding. I'm just going to clean the file on a little bit, make sure it's dry and clean, so the tape will adhere to it. We already found a hole in here, which we're going to use for the layup, because part of this thing is, once this thing is molded, it has to be, we have to extract it from this system, from this mandrel. Now how do you extract it? The plastic is going to cool, it's going to shrink, and it's going to collapse down on top of that mandrel, tighten it up so tight that you need about 2,000 pounds of traction force to remove the plastic from the model, from the whole system. So what he's doing is putting a ring in there, which we call a retaining ring, alright, and then a nail through it. The retaining ring is going to keep the model from sliding down the pipe when you pull the plastic off of it. Alright, now he's pulling a layer of very thin nylon. The reason for that layer of thin nylon before the insert is very simple. The insert could trap air, and you don't want to do that. You want to have a complete vacuum system between the insert and the hot plastic on it. Now, what he's doing now is laying up tape. So we're going to put this in the oven at about 380 degrees, okay? The oven already dropped down to 315 because we had the door open for a minute. But this is an infrared oven. It'll climb back up to 380 in no time. And right now it's on run, so it's on, so it's actually increasing its temperature. You'll see it's start to climb.
Okay, that's the corn. And you put a little bit later when it doesn't make, like you see in the back right here, make a good contact, but in the front it didn't make a good contact. So what I do, and I just fill it up with a plater and I make one line straight. Okay, so now you open a little holes in the deep part of the leg too, to make sure that you get suction. It's nothing crazy, just a little bit holes, it's enough to get some vacuum and pull the plastic down on the places. A little bit in the front and a little bit in the back. It's a little bit holes up here. Okay, so you see now, so you got over here the holes over here, and you got the measurement over here, which is he's 20 plus 3 inches of the foot you got, so it's gonna be up around here. So we got enough room between the pipe, between the foot and the foot pipe. Okay, so you pull over this one. Now, once you put it on, you're just making sure that the lines are straight. See? Now you take a little piece of thread, you put it here. Just cut it a little bit, not too side. Now you're gonna be ready to pull on the pipe to mold it, but you gotta make sure that you have enough material up here so the plastic don't choke through it. So what you're doing is I just use a little extra piece of salt. Okay. So now you put it down here, this one. Make sure that you got enough here, not too close. So you always got a little space between this here. You just make sure that you fill the space with stacking it. Tighten it the way you want it. For that center paper, we don't use it. Just keep it to clamp it up here, staple it, and that helps you too. You don't to the plastic don't choke into the pipe. You see, you hold it. See, you hold it this one, so they will hold it to the plastic. Doesn't go through the pipe. Don't like choke it. So that help you for that part. Then you sign this down here. A little bit down here. So just make sure to have 2 corners to make a knot. So just go in there.
The vacuum pump is way up there in the rafters.
So enough so you can tighten it well, and that way it will help you too. Like if you have the tight socks up here, will help you. It won't let the plastic choke to the pipe. So you just make a little bit knot up here.
Caulk is that's just window caulk. It makes a really nice seal when you got the hot plastic going down on it. Yeah, you can keep going. Staple. And so what we're going to do is wet this soon, because water happens to be a very good barrier natural barrier so the plastic won't stick to the stockinette. He's going to pull some of the tension out so that the AP can be maintained. And he's going to pull that so that the suction can pull into the popliteal area and staple it so it doesn't loosen. Alright? And now we'll wet this. Now the water mixture here is, if you're going to do a half gallon of water, you want to do about maybe 3 or 4 ounces of Palmolive soap. And the reason why you add Palmolive soap is because cotton stockinette has sizing in it. And sizing prevents the water from sticking to the stockinette. But soap kills the sizing. And notice how it soaks right in. It soaks right into the stockinette because you want to make sure that the stockinette is somewhat damp. Now if you notice, he really soaked it down good on the cast side, but notice he's leaving it dry in the mandrel. The reason why he leaves it dry in the mandrel is because you want to wet that only at the last moment just before you form, because if you leave that wet for a long period of time while you're waiting for the plastic to heat, the tape will swell, and you don't want the tape to swell. So you don't want to give the tape a chance to soften up. So right now we're going to leave it upside down, so that this is going to end up the wet spot, and this is going to be the dry. We'll be molding in about 5 minutes. When the plastic reaches forming temperature, lay it on, lay it out. Notice he did you a favor. He put on a little angle, just like a checkered flag should be. And you rub it in.
All right.
Ready? You turn the vacuum on. Now, we'll pull the plastic out. Now we've rotated it. Get the angle right. There's your image. Okay? One shot. Boom. Now I'm going to grab here. Watch. I'll pinch and pull, manipulate. Now he can stretch all he wants. Okay? Now what I've done is maintain the thickness of the pylon all the way through. And now the vacuum is kicking in already. You'll see it. Now he rotates. You've got time to do this, but you only have a limited amount. Now it's been rotated. We're going to trim off the back. Watch this. Now while it's hot, we're going to trim off this excess and take a carpet roller and just pinch this over so it's centered in the middle and double, because that's a high pressure area. By doubling it, now you've reinforced that seam. It's never going to split apart. Maybe get in over it so you can see that image there. And you can see in the pylon area, right in here, we can also rub a little bit if you want. Mold that in. Doesn't really matter. But it's here where you really want to tighten it up. And you can see the thickness of the pylon is all the way through in here. Double thick, no air bubbles.